You can make your drawing look more like a drawing by adding more lines, just in case the washes are dominating and you are concerned about the appearance of your drawing, right? No problem. You can add more lines all over the place, including more details. As a matter of fact, you'll find out that you won't be able to do a huge amount of details with a brush, and that a better way of doing fine detail, like branches, for example, could be done with your pen. Now I'm using a ballpoint pen here. I like ballpoint pen because they roll really well, and they roll fast, okay? And you can hold them at a slight angle, contrary to some other pens. Anyway, you can switch back and forth between building things up with lines and the shading done with a brush. Now, going back to the shading done with a brush, you can increase the contrast and by adding more value. There are basically two ways you can approach shading these leaves. Okay, you can shade them by thinking of these clusters as being in a background behind the tree. Okay, if that's the case, then the branch will look light against the contrasting cluster, the dark cluster. Now, what's important when you do this cluster, you just can't do them to one side of the trunk. You have to do them on both sides, showing their, umbrella shape, just like the one in the front. Okay, so there would be one way of the other would be the opposite, where you're replacing the clusters in front, covering up the branch. Now at that point, the branch would have to be shaded darker, most likely. Now these are general guidelines, so they can vary enormously depending on the size of the tree and the amount of vegetation, the amount of clustering, the size of the clustering, and all that. Okay, so, but in general, you want to apply this idea of simultaneous contrast. In other words, the same branch that would appear to be dark against a light background will appear to be just the opposite against a lighter background. Now, once you have built up a considerable amount of surface with a wash, particularly if the wash is very dark, you may want to backtrack and work in the opposite manner. For example, you can take, in other words, you have a mist area really cannot be brought back to look like they were before. You'll cover up too much of the white of the surface. Now you have black against black, not much contrast. At that point you can take a white pencil, chalk. I'm not too crazy about chalk, because chalk would tend to rub off. But there are wax pencils, color pencils, that may work relatively well. Chalk happens to be easy to use and soft and applies really well. There are also crayons, Conte crayon pencil, which are excellent, and those can be used to bring back some of the contrast, in particular white areas. Okay, so now here's the pretty much the end of this show, and next time what I would like to do is to work with these color pencils and bring back some light to areas that I made too dark. Alright? Well, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Bye.